so many creatives go, oh, I need to start a business and I need to just look professional, almost impersonal. If we look at the luxury hotel scene or many other luxury brands, it's highly personal. It's highly engaged. I want to talk about how you can still win the deal, even if you are the more expensive option, the less convenient option, and even if you have less quality work than the other person that they are comparing you to. Have you ever lost a deal to someone who had a better price than you, was more convenient than you, like they didn't have to fly them out to do the project, or simply they had better work than you? Yeah. It sucks. And on today's episode, I want to talk about how you can still win the deal, even if you are the more expensive option, the less convenient option, and even if you have less quality work than the other person that they are comparing you to. Hi, I'm Christy. I've been in the industry, the photography industry, for the last 10 years, last decade, in both the destination wedding space as well as the commercial brand space. And this principle that I'm going to talk about in this episode has honestly been the most game-changing thing for me because simply, I'm average. I don't have the best quality work compared to the other best photographers in the universe. I can't outwork somebody in that way. I also am not the most convenient option. I can't teleport everywhere. I can't do travel for free. As well as I'm also not the less expensive option usually. I'm always usually the highest priced person that they're potentially working with. And I want to talk about how something in my marketing that's a little bit different than I see in the industry that doesn't make me any more special than anybody else or any more talented than anybody else, but simply because I learned this principle and it has affected my business the entire last decade and how it can help yours today. So I want to talk about a problem that I see in the industry that I personally fell into when I first got my business started and how you might be falling into it as well. And you might be losing deals because you can't outshoot someone, outprice someone, or outconvenience someone, and how you can change that today. So I want to talk about this quick problem that I see in the industry. I see this a lot in the wedding space. I also see this a lot in the brand space. And it's something that I used to do at the very beginning. So I think this works for everybody when you think back to when did you first start your business? What's the first thing usually every single person does? They start a business Instagram, right? Like you go, I'm going to become a photographer. I'm going to shoot for brands, or I'm going to shoot in the destination wedding space. I need to separate my personal Instagram to a business Instagram. And while that's not always a bad idea, creating business Instagrams can be great, the problem is the mindset shift. You go from I am a personal brand to now I'm a business professional brand. And that in lies the problem, specifically when we see with people who want to be working with luxury weddings or even high-end brands, people depersonalize themselves. They immediately start to think, oh, well, I can't post that. I can't share that about myself. I can't do this. I need to be this impersonal, high-end looking brand in order for those people to want to hand me large amounts of cash and trust me with a project. And therein lies the problem, is that people separate luxury from personality. And I want to talk about how you can change that in your brand and actually start winning deals. So I want to tell a little story. My husband and I just celebrated our 5-year anniversary. Shout out to us, 5 years, let's go. And to celebrate, we actually were terrible about celebrating our anniversaries. I think this is like the first anniversary thing we've ever done since getting married 5 years ago. They always just pass us by and we're like, oh shoot, that was our anniversary. But this year we were like, 5 years, that feels like a big deal. So we were like, okay, let's blow some Amex points. Some Amex points that we've been storing up, and we decided to go for one night to the Montage in Laguna Beach. And if you have ever been there, I'm sure you just exhaled with the memory of relaxation. That place is unbelievable, like the height of luxury, and truly the height of luxury. It's like $1,000 a night. It's a crazy hotel, but we were like, you know what? We got some Amex points. Let's do it. We had the most amazing time, but something about it while I was there reminded me of business, and it reminded me of this principle that I'm going to talk about today. So when we think of luxury brands, okay, like we have the Montage, right? It's a super high-end luxury hotel that everybody in the world wants to go to, okay? You got the Montage, and then we have the Marriott. That's usually like where Joey and I like to stay when we travel, someplace like the Marriott. It's not a bad hotel. It's not a Motel 6, but it's also not the Montage, and yet it still is in that upper and higher end lodging accommodation that you can choose as you travel. So we've got the Montage and we've got the Marriott. Okay. So the Montage, we have the height of luxury, and the Marriott, we have a little bit lower end, but still in that upper echelon. So when we look at the Marriott and we look at how it functions, how you experience it when you go there, everything is usually always the same. All the people that serve you are very professional. It's very nice. Everything is so clean. It's very well taken care of, very businessy, right? It's very professional. You really, as you go through the Marriott experience, from the front desk person to the bellman to checking out, you're not going to remember a single person you met, right? Like, I literally want you to think back to all of your experiences if you've ever stayed in the Marriott or something similar. You can't remember who those people are. You can't remember anything personal about them, but you do remember having a solid experience, and that was great. And you would probably go back again. Yet if someone else offered you a better deal at a similar hotel, you would easily switch, right? At least that's how I feel when I think of the Marriott. Now, let's think of the Montage, okay? Here's my experience of staying there for one night on our 5-year anniversary at the Montage. I can remember every single person we came in contact to at the Montage. I remember the front desk girl. I remember our bellman. I remember our waiter at the restaurant. I remember the guy serving us at the pool. I can remember the guy serving us down at the beach. I can remember specific stories about each one of these people. The fact that our waiter at our pool wants to become a luxury real estate agent in the Laguna Beach area. I can remember how our server at the restaurant loved golf, but he specifically thought Pebble Beach was overrated. I can remember all of these specific things about each one of these people in my experience at the Montage. And it was because the culture of the Montage is luxury equals personal. All of these people knew my name. They provided incredible service, even better service than the Marriott. And yet what they did was they were so personal. It didn't feel stuffy. It didn't feel professional in that weird way. It felt so relaxed. I was just in Utah yesterday, actually. I just came back and I was staying at the Sundance Resort, also another incredible resort that's high-end and exclusive and beautiful. And every single person there, the exact same as the Montage. People were wearing like Wrangler jeans, like the bellman's wearing a cowboy hat, like they're talking about their stories, they're asking us questions. It's so highly personable and warm. And I was like, this is so interesting because so many creatives go, oh, I need to start a business and I need to just look professional and almost impersonal. And yet, if we look at the luxury hotel scene or many other luxury brands, it's highly personal. It's highly engaged. And it creates this luxury feeling of personality that we often miss in the creative space. So today, I want to talk about how luxury shouldn't feel stale or overpriced or any of these things. It should feel highly, highly personal. So if luxury hotels are doing this, I think in our businesses, we should do it as well. So I want to talk about how they're doing this and how you can do it in your business as well. So I want to show you a little thing we always talk about here. If you're new to Creativ Rise, we talk about funnels all the time. If you don't know what a funnel is, this is what it looks like. Every single business has one, including yours, including the Montage, including the Marriott, including every other business that are your competitors, right? Everyone has a funnel. And what a funnel looks like is you have top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom of funnel, right? Okay, we got top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel. Top of funnel is awareness, right? This is people coming to know who you are. We have cold audience up here, okay? Cold audience. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to drive the cold audience all the way down to the bottom of the funnel to buy. And when people think of their content in their business, they always just think of awareness content. This is top of funnel content. This is attracting content. This is how do I catch the eyes of my cold audience and bring them down to inquire, right? Inquire and buy, okay? So this is often like, portfolio work, right? We think about like, okay, what's my best work? That always attracts people. And that's true, right? That's top of funnel content. We think of portfolio, we think of like paid ads, right? Maybe it's SEO, all of that. All of these things. We talk a ton about top of funnel content in Creativ Rise because it really generates leads, right? And that's what we want to do. However, what I think most businesses miss, and that I think is one of the biggest parts of business, is the middle funnel content. And this is the educate content. Sorry, my writing is kind of terrible today. Awareness content, and we have educate content, and then we have bottom of funnel content, which is convert. And this is like, okay, we've got like testimonials, we got all this other type of content that basically is like CTA content that drives people to actually inquire and buy with you. So a lot of people are actually great at awareness content and they're great at conversion content. However, they completely miss out on the education content. And now you might be thinking, oh, no, Christy, I do that. I talk about all the ways it's so great to work with me, all the things that are inside of my packages, how I have, great hours that I offer, all of these things. I'm super good at that. Okay. So in middle funnel, we want it to accomplish 3 things. We want people to know you, right? Become educated about you. We want people to trust you, okay? The thing everyone misses, we want them to like you. At the end of the day, people want to know, like, and trust you, but almost every creative misses the like piece because they think, I'm too professional for that, right? Oh, I want to be in the luxury wedding space. People don't want to know about me. All they want to just know is what I offer, and I need to look really like stiff and posed and magazine-like, and that's all people need, and that's all people want, and someone will look over me thinking I'm maybe too immature if I share about my personal life, or immature if I share something about myself, when it actually is the exact opposite. Be a Montage in a Marriott world, right? If you can focus on this like content, oh my goodness, you will outperform people, and you will not only outperform people, people will want to choose you if you are the most expensive option, the less convenient option, right? Like if someone likes you, and they receive 2 prices, they're going to go, I want to go with the person I like more. How do we make it work? Right? So if you want people, when they inquire with you, to not just, because this is genuine. I'm going to get into this. This is usually what happens. People have some great awareness content. It drives people to completely bypass these other pieces of content and inquire. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, that's awesome. That's great. I just want to send people to inquire right now. The problem is they have not been nurtured in these bottom 2 pieces of the funnel in order to, when they receive your price, to actually buy, right? That's what we need to nurture people to do. So we need to build know, like, and trust content. Now, how we actually do that, how that actually looks in a business, because you might be thinking, okay, well, how do I get people to like me? This feels like kindergarten. I'm like stressing out. How do I do this? It doesn't have to be complicated. And it actually is something that has changed my business. This is what we teach all of our people that go through our mastermind. This is what we do in our own personal businesses. And I know it's going to help you too. So here's what we're going to focus on for middle funnel content. We are going to focus on the 3 identity pillars. Okay? I only want you to pick 3 because it's got to be actionable, right? You can't be like, okay, well, how do I like content? Let me just theorize that in my mind to do a bunch of random things. You got to go, what is my 1? What is my 2? And what is my 3? And think about this from a personal brand standpoint. All brands have a personal brand to them, whether you know it or not. So what are you giving off right now, and how can you actually shape that and create it so that you can actually connect and create what we like to call an identity match, okay? So an identity match is the most important part of nurturing people. So I'll give you an example. So I am still in the wedding space. I do both commercial and weddings right now. When I first got started, I only did weddings. And my old ones, I'll give you my new ones in a second, but my old ones were, and you're going to laugh at this, but trust me, this is like content, and it worked so well. My first one, the world's best establishment, In-N-Out. In-N-Out Burger. I'm a Californian through and through. I eat In-N-Out multiple times a week. This was my thing. And this was something that after every single shoot, I wanted to eat In-N-Out. Now, I was probably like 2 years into my business. I thought that content, like portfolio content, was like the most important thing, which it is important, but it's not the most important thing. And I remember focusing so much on just like, how do I get my edits perfect and all of these things? And there was a significant shift when I went from, okay, editing feels good. This content feels good. Now I need to focus on building my personal brand inside of my brand. And this is when I started attracting people really well. And this is how I actually started getting people to want to fly me across the world and pay thousands of more dollars for me than someone who maybe was local or a cheaper option. It was because of my identity pillars, because we created an identity match. And one of those things, as ridiculous as it sounds, was In-N-Out. It was something that I craved after every shoot. So I started posting about it. I started being like, hey guys, it's shoot day. So we know what that means. I'm heading to In-N-Out. And I would always be posting photos and be talking about it, laughing about it, to the point where I actually had a bride hire me specifically from my In-N-Out content because she was like, me and my husband love In-N-Out and we actually want to go to In-N-Out after our wedding. And we ended up doing this full post-wedding In-N-Out shoot. It went viral. It was so fun. And I literally got hired because someone was like, dang, you love In-N-Out. Or like I would get thank you cards from my brides and it would be In-N-Out gift cards. Like people felt like they knew me. All of a sudden I went from this impersonal, stoic brand that was just about the work and price to an actual human being that they could connect with, right? And they're like, hey, that girl loves In-N-Out. I love In-N-Out. That makes me like her more. We have an identity match. So check identity match. My second one was my BFF, Megan, okay? I hired and taught my best friend to shoot with me, okay? She became an incredible photographer. We would travel the world together. So she would be constantly in my videos. It was almost like a TV show. We'd be like capturing our adventures. It was super fun. But people loved the fact that it was two best friends shooting weddings around the world. And they were like, dang, I want these fun girls who have this fun friendship to come to our wedding. So that was like a huge thing. Then it was travel. I was, again, shooting destination weddings, traveling a lot. I was probably gone every single weekend, if not every other weekend. And I was always on a plane if I was shooting a wedding. Most people didn't actually even knew where I lived. I talked so much about the ins and outs of my travels though, like what we were doing, where we were going, all the stuff we were doing aside from the weddings. People loved that content. And if they also loved travel, which was a big thing in the destination space. Most people who are getting married in a destination space love travel, so therefore they can identity match with the travel. So people were identity matching with me on In-N-Out. As funny as that sounds, it was true. My friendship with Megan, which showed that I was a trustworthy person who could make a friend and that they wanted to be friends with me. And then travel, something that they also loved and thought was incredibly awesome. So those were my 3 identity pillars. Now, my identity pillars have shifted, and maybe yours will continue to shift as you grow your business, as you change, as you develop new interests or hobbies. My new ones would be, I still have travel. That's a big one. Now it has changed. Megan had to go and get a full-time job, so she no longer travels with me to all of my shoots, but my husband Joey does. And now I post all about our travels together and the way we work together and how much we love working together. And that's an identity match for people who are like, hey, I love that. I love that they've got a marriage where they do all this stuff together. That's so fun. People love that. As well as my actual current one, as funny and as millennial as this is gardening. It's gardening. But that is an identity match with a lot of people right now. And it's attracting people who are also interested in those things. And this will continue to change, right? This like interest-based one, if you want to formulate this for yourself, it's almost like this is an interest, right? This is like a value, like a relationship value. And this is also maybe another value, but it's something that you would really appreciate. Like, oh, I really love the outdoors. Or I really love hiking, or I do love doing this. You know, these could be anything, you guys. So think about something that's specific to you, whether it's like interior design, or it's you love gardening as well, or you love hiking, or you love literally like think of any of your interests, any of your values. Oh, I love my dog, right? I post all the time about my dog. You might be thinking, no, I'm in the luxury space. Like I can't do that. But think about this. What is an identity match with someone? Ultimately, another human being with interests, values, and hobbies is wanting to hire you. So if you can become someone that they feel like they know, like, and trust with these 3 identity pillars, you will be far better off. Now you might be thinking, where do I put these? What do I do with this? I've come up with my 3 in my head. How do I start sharing these things? Just start sharing it. Start with stories. That's what I always like to say is start with your 3 identity pillars in your stories, just casual content that gets people into it. You can then introduce it into some of your captions with maybe you have like a great portfolio piece, but in your caption, you can kind of explain some more personal things about you, all of that kind of stuff. As well as then you can even share on your actual posts or on your TikTok or whatever it is to just get people to know more about you. So the whole point is be a Montage in a Marriott world. Be someone who can attract people to like you so that they want to spend more money with you. As funny as that sounds, but it is so true. So think back to that funnel, think back to these 3 identity pillars, and you will become someone who, even if you are more expensive, less convenient, or have less quality work, will become the obvious choice. I hope this was helpful today. Go ahead and subscribe wherever you're listening. If you've got something that you would love for us to teach on, another part of this funnel that maybe you feel unclear on, go ahead and shoot us a DM at Creativ Rise. We would love to see you over there. But we appreciate you guys. We love this community, and we'll see you next week.